Hey guys, what's happening? Welcome back. Today I got a fun little project, low cost, one picket, little solar LED light. This makes for a good, like a garden accent light, path light, good Mother's Day gift. Makes a good project to sell, low cost. The light was $1.50. The picket was $3.50, so about $5. You know, some stain and some pin nails, some glue. Anyway, so we'll get started. We'll get started with the sides. Before we do that, I'm going to give you a cut list and a drawing of the angles and everything used on this and the sizes and dimensions. Take a screenshot of it. Okay, here's the basics of it. Just verify your lengths. They're going to vary a little bit. Plus, if you have OCD, if I had the foresight, I would have made this 5 and 5/16 wide, because one of these ends are going to be like measure 1 inch. But if you want to take a screenshot of that. Okay, now we're going to take our full picket. I surfaced both sides. Now I need to clean the edges up, and it'll be a width of 5 1/4. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to go to the miter saw, and we're going to cut 2 pieces at 18 3/4 inches. Okay, now we cut our 2 sides. So next thing we're going to do is to make our slants. So I'm going to come from the back side, come over, measure out 2 1/4, make a mark there. So we're going to go over to our miter saw, and I'm going to cut 30 degrees to that point, and then back cut 15 degrees. And then once we get this cut, we'll trace it to the next one. Okay, now here's my mark. So this is going to be the front, so I need to taper this to 30 degrees. Bring the miter saw over, and we'll cut back 15 degrees from that point. Now we'll trace the other one. The next thing we're going to do is cut out our slots. So I'll do our starter holes. Start at 6 1/2, draw a straight line. So from the bottom up is 13 1/2. This is where we're going to put our starter pilot holes. So now we got to figure out our spacing. So this is 5 1/4 wide, and we're going to divide that by 5 to get 4 equal spaces. So it works around roughly 1 1/16. Okay, we're gonna drill a little pilot holes, and then we're going to use a 1/2 inch bit, and then we'll connect them. Demonstrate. It's going to use like an 1/8 inch bit. There, now I can drill from both sides with the bigger bit, so there's not a huge blowout. Forgot I had a Forstner bit. Nice cleaner cut. Next, draw a straight line from the edge of your hole. Then we'll cut that out with a jigsaw. Okay, now we cut. Okay, now it should look like that. Now what we're going to do is our bottom. We're just going to go 2 at 6 inches. And then I'll show you how to do the roof. Okay, so it's basically going to sit like this. Mine's going to be open to the ground, but I'm also going to put these pieces, some of these pieces that we cut out of here, put these on the bottom, just in case I want to put a couple slats across and put a potted plant down. So at least they'll be here. So I'm just going to cut 2 of these, that 5 1/4, and then I'll glue and brad nail this, or pin nail it. Okay, next I want to fill this in. I'm going to come down 3 inches from this corner. I want to know where I'm going to meet on this side. We're going to fill this piece in. To fill this in, this would be 30-degree bevel. So you need 230 degrees to fit this. So this angle here, 22 and a half and 22 and a half. This one here on your miter saw is going to be 37 and a half, 37 and a half. So those are your bevels you need for that. Okay, first one I want to do is this. We'll cut a 30 degrees. So this is 3 inch. And we got to measure this. About 3 3/8 this side. So let's do those first. So I'll go 3 inches at 30 degrees, flat. This one will be point to point, 3 3/8. This side will be 30 degrees. This side will be 22 and a half. So we still got plenty of board left over to finish the roof. So remember, we're coming up 3 inches. We need to come over 30 degrees this way. So there's 2 ways to cut this. You can place it this way, go 30, or lay it flat and set your bevel to 30 degrees, your tilt. Sure she's locked. So I'm just gonna make sure I'm cut straight across. So we're gonna cut this side of the line. So you could technically flip this over and let the cup is different. So I'm going to cut this out at 30 on this side. Plus it gives it a grain match. Now we need to come from this point over 3 3/8. And we're going to come bevel this way at 22 and a half. So change your bevel. Lock it to 22 and a half, which is convenient. So basically it's going to fit like this. So what I'm going to do is I'll glue it and then I'll pin nail it. So we're going to glue this in. You're going to get some gaps because of the cupping of little glue and sanding. We'll fill that in. Pin nail this. That's how that should look. So we'll work on this side so we know this bevel's 22 and a half degrees. This on your miter saw is 37 and a half. So we just need a measurement. About 2 5/16. Point to point would be 22 and a half, 37 and a half. This one for this part, we'll say 4 inches. And this part will be flat. And then this angle will be 37 and a half degrees. So before I cut this, I want to put my LED light in. Okay, so I'm going to trace this out. So this would be basically the peak of the roof. I'm going to cut down towards the bottom eave. So I just got to trace this out, kind of center it, eyeball it, I guess. So I just need to trace the basic shape. Going to end it right here. And I'll just square over. I'll just drill a hole on each side. Take the jigsaw, cut it out. Fits. Like I said, Doesn't matter if there's a little gap. You got to make it a little bigger because this is a little wider at the bottom. Now we'll cut this angle and then our other one. Okay, now we just got to cut 37.5 degrees back this way. So now, now we just need to come at this point, cut 4 inches square. And that should finish our roof area. Okay, so it should fit like this. So we'll glue this, pin nail it. Okay, so we'll glue this, glue all the sides, and we'll tack it in and do some sanding and staining. Then we'll put our light in. Okay, what I'm going to do is glue these seams, let it set up, sand it all down so that cover up. So I took a little Dremel wheel earlier, like a 1/2 inch flap disc, got in these grooves, sanded up pretty good. Okay, so you should have this much left over, about 7 inches worth of picket. I'll just cut some 1/2 inch strips, go around the bottom. Okay, here's my 1/2 inch strips. So I think I'm going to do is I'll measure the sides. I'm not going to do any miters. It's 5 1/4. I'll cut 2 of these at 5 1/4. Get a measurement. 7 3/16. That's 7 3/16. Another little trick you could do is anything ground contact, just seal the bottom with some glue. Just help slow down the wicking process, especially on your end grains. Now I want to sand. Okay, so I'm going to be staining this. This is an Olympic semi-transparent, and the color's cedar tone, cedar natural tone. But my wife has a bunch of plans for these, so I gotta start making a few more of these. And be good for some good Mother's Day gifts. So there's some Mother's Day sales too if you're into selling. So I'm not going to stain below where I'm going to be putting dirt. So I'm just going to come in here and basically stain from this part up. So if you're going to batch these out, I would just make some templates. There's the sides, the grooves. Just easier to mark them. Put a nice little label on them. 1 picket solar path light. Here's all the little roof sides, or the roof, the top. Has all the information on it. Degrees on this side, 30 degrees on this side. The length. There's the solar path light, or the solar light. Pretty handy to have around. Just store them away, and when you need them, bring them out. Okay, so let's put these LED lights in. So you can get a 20 pack for like $30. That came to about $1.50 a piece. I am an affiliate with Amazon, so we'll get a small commission if you order these. But there is some more, I think the same style for like $27 for a 20 pack. So it's a slightly cheaper. These came to about $1.50 a piece, which you can get 10 pack, which the price will go up a little more the less you buy. But, so if you're interested, I'll put a link in the description. So it comes with 2 screws or this double stick adhesive, but I think I'm just going to use the screws in case if I need to change them out. This adhesive sticks pretty good. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to drill some holes, one on each side, kind of at an angle. I'm going to use these stakes just to hold it in the ground a little better, just in case there's any heavy winds. And that should fit through, and I'll stake it in. Or if you got somewhere where it's wooded, you can just use screws, screw it down. So we'll do that to all 4 sides. Hey, look, they multiply too. Now I had fun building these. Batched them out. Got some mothers in the family. Nice little gifts for. But yeah, low cost. Like I said, about $5. Fun to build. So I want to show you what they look like outside all lit up. It's pretty cool. Yeah, the camera quite doesn't do it justice at night, but looks a lot better in person. Pretty cool glow to it. But, well, I thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed. And I'll see you on the next one. Alright, bye guys.